just as with washing, we have special situation cases with shrouding as well. Can't have the same ruling on everybody. There are some exceptions. First of all, muhrim, someone who is wearing ihram in process of doing Hajj or Umrah. So for this kind of person, his shrouding, his kafan, is same as his clothes. His clothes automatically become kafan. And for this person, as we said earlier, no perfume at all. Not on him, not on his ihram, nothing. And his head and face should not be covered. Earlier I said everything must be covered, but in this case, obviously the ihram clothes, as he does the tawaf and all those things, his head is always visible. Same thing, how he should be buried. He should not be shrouded with anything to cover. So that was muhrim. And next one is the case when what to do when the kafan itself is not sufficient. That can be maybe, okay, what I said that there should be 3 shrouds, 3 kafan. What if you only have 2, or what if you just have 1? That is still okay, no problem with that. 1 is okay, still okay, preferably 3. But what if you have just 1 sheet and multiple bodies, for example? This happens many times. For example, in a massive disaster, for example, the earthquake in Haiti, right? Many people died, and maybe, for example, there are a lot of Muslims there. So we don't have a lot of kafan. Maybe stores all ran out of all kafans because so many dead bodies. And if you go to somewhere else, maybe it takes time for them to come, 1 or 2 days. You can't wait for the dead body, for the kafan to arrive. You have to bury them quickly. So in those cases, the scholars say that take a sheet, 1 sheet, and just cut them off and divide it among all of them if you're falling short of it, if 1 is not sufficient. So that's what you have to do. And what if you have a piece of sheet and it is only covering your head until the knee, and your feet is not covering? Or if you cover the feet, your head is not covering. What should you do in that situation? So we have a lot of evidences for that. We have to cover with twigs, leaves, sweet-smelling grass. In the case of those 2 great shuhada, ifkir, that's what they use, the sweet-smelling grass. Now, I just want to mention a little bit of tangent here about those 2 great shaheed of the Battle of Uhud, Mus'ab ibn Umair and his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's uncle, Sayyidina Hamza ibn Abu Talib radiyallahu anhuma, Abdul Muttalib. We all know about Sayyidina Hamza. I want to little touch about the other Sahabi, Mus'ab ibn Umair. Some people don't know him, so I just want to very brief life history about him. He was one of the Quraysh. He was very handsome. He had like blue eyes, and he was from a very wealthy family, lot of money. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say, he used to live such luxurious life. There's no equal for him in this whole Makkah. But when he accepted Islam, Allah gave him hidayah. So he sacrificed everything, let go all his expensive perfumes and all clothing. And his parents tried to give him tough time too. They tied him up and threw him in a dark cell, but he did not leave Islam. So when he converted and they migrated to Abyssinia, then and he was wearing a coarse blanket, almost like a worn-out blanket at that time. But when the situation improved, actually he was sent as an envoy to Medina to give da'wah. So that's when he was preparing the grounds for Hijrah. And he had the soft speech that attracted people, and that's why he was so successful in giving da'wah. And he was also the one who, when the command to establish the Friday prayer came, he was the first to have that congregation in Medina, because Makkah, it was not suitable to start that Friday prayer at that time. So he was basically founded that Friday prayers. And he was a good soldier too, and he was given the honor of, that banner, holding the banner in both the Badr and the Battle of Uhud. But he became shaheed in a very brutal way. The disbelievers, they cut him on one side where he was holding the banner, and when he took it, on the left side, and that was cut as well. And then he didn't have any of those hands, and he still was holding on to it. Then the final blow, he just, it went through his body, and he couldn't take it, and he became shaheed at that point. So when he was lying, his dead body was lying there. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to his body, and he was looking at him. That he used to live such a luxurious life. So beautiful, so handsome, so beautiful dresses. Now he's lying there. His hair is uncombed. He's just wearing one sheet. That's it. So when they tried to put that sheet on him as his coffin, his either feet or head was showing up. So that was his case. But Allah honored him with whatever he did. Because of him, alhamdulillah, every single house in Medina had at least one family member who was a Muslim. His dawah efforts. We'll sometime, inshallah, go detailedly on his life history when you're discussing the life of Sahaba. But that happened to both Sayyidina Hamza and Sayyidina Musab. So that was one case. And head must be covered, and it's preferred over feet, while if you have very short sheet. Then next one is a shaheed. Shaheed has again a lot of exceptions. The thing is, with the shaheed, you're not allowed to remove the clothing. Whatever state he dies in, or become shaheed in, you just keep it as is, and you bury him. And we said no ghusl, no washing, even shrouding. It's not farda kifaya. We said it's obligation for shaheed. It's recommended. It's a good thing. You'll not be sinful if you don't cover shaheed. And janaza prayer itself is also not required. It's better if you, but it's not, again, for kifaya. We'll go over the prayer once we reach that part. And then finally, what to do if the body is damaged. Like sometimes, you have these accidents, and the person dies, and they bring it to the masjid, and we have to wash and shroud it. So in those cases, if the injury is like a little bit less, you can wrap it up in tape or something and stop the bleeding to happen. That is one way. And basically you have to stop things coming out, otherwise the shrouding will not be effective. Things will leak. So carry a lot of tape with you, cotton, whatever you can. And sometimes it's not just the case of accidents, but a body can be in such a state that it is decaying, it is disintegrating. So in those cases, it can emit an unpleasant smell. It's not good. So you have to take care of that as well. Stop that from wherever it is coming. Some people, what they do is, if they have such issues, they cover that whole body in a plastic, additional plastic, because it's a special case. So, and then they put over the shroud, or the other way around. First put the shroud and then plastic. So that's something that is allowed and that should be done.